Democratic Party now is like in charge of who is going to be in the seat, not because they're a good candidate for an aldermanic position, because they are the groupthink, the like-think, the herd mentality, and that's what we've got. And these young people, I'm watching them, and none of them have this. They just want to line up because we can maybe move up the ladder through this progression, through this party.
Morning. Welcome back to Talking Racine. And we have all these little discussions beforehand, and you know what I think the unspoken question in you guys' minds was today.
Yeah.
Doc, what's your beauty secret? Am I right?
Yeah, first thing I thought, yeah. Yeah.
Right. Well, we got the very good-looking George Meyer to my left, the handsome Jim Spodek to my right, and myself, Dr. Jorgen, your host. Oh, we got some fun here today, huh? Instead of like being real heavy, I think this is a topic that's going to be a little more lighthearted. And what we're going to talk about is the danger of groupthink. Are you all with me on that? You notice how I did that? Are you all with me?
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. The danger of groupthink. And we've got it defined here. The practice of thinking or making decisions as a group in a way that discourages creativity or individual responsibility. Now, why are we talking about that? Well, we think that there may be some applicability to, well, I don't know, city council?
Particularly that last word, responsibility. Right,
that's the one that stuck out for you.
Yeah, I saw that, and there we are. You're right on it there. I mean, it's one thing to get a little bit of comfort because you got some agreement.
Yeah,
that's nice. You know, that's always good. But once that's going into effect, now if you're going to come out and think outside the box, there's another one, okay, or think separately from the group. Now it takes some responsibility.
Right. Government does not move projects forward. Government usually stifles them, especially when they get involved, like we've seen in the city of Racine over and over and over again, is that these projects have failed, and we use the word groupthink, and it's exactly what it is. That group comes in, they get inoculated by the administration. This project's going to save the day. One says it, the next says it, and that's clearly what the show is about today. Is this pile-on groupthink, herd mentality, and what it's done is cost the taxpayers tremendous amounts of money.
Well, go ahead, George.
I was going to say that, and you're right on it. You observe it. Somebody keeps coming in with these projects, and they keep jumping on it. And my observation is the council is the council's in over its head, not probably.
Yeah.
But they're trying to run all this city from that council floor with their ordinances and their programs and all this type of stuff, and that's what's going to make it go. Now, these people are probably having enough trouble handling their own lives, so they're going to handle everybody else's life too. So they're in kind of a tough situation there, where they've taken on as what they're supposed to be doing. So, and they have no way going about how to figure how do you actually do this? How do you actually, you got 79,000 people out there. How do you actually, just think about it, how do you actually, from a council floor, make all these good things happen? Well, it's really, really hard to do that. In fact, I'm not even sure it's possible, but it's certainly hard. So when somebody comes along with an answer, says, here's what we did over in Allentown, here's what we did in Rio Rancho, or wherever. This is what we did, and they say, oh, good, maybe this is our answer. So they jump on it as a solution because they're starved for solutions.
Well, sometimes there's this, the old adage comes up, lead, follow, or get out of the way.
Yeah.
And the council sometimes seems to believe that leadership is like, that's their burden. We have to lead.
Right.
Well, no, sometimes you just get the hell out of the way.
That's really
tough for egos.
In fact, more often than not, get the hell out of the way, as far as I'm concerned.
We've discussed that before on the show. If we just got the taxes down and the regulations down so that somebody could come in and start up a business, you'd be surprised.
Yeah.
Oh, how many businesses would start up? They're coming up all the time, but then the city's right in there on top of it and saying, no, you can't. You have to do it this way and this way, and then pretty soon.
Well, government does have its place for some of these really large projects. I mean, when you think about things like the interstate system, well, that ain't going to happen as a private enterprise. And the rail system, without government subsidy back in the day, actually giving land to the railroads, and giving them a right of way and subsidizing their projects, that probably never would happen.
Let's leave it at there's a role for government. Because private people are putting up tollways now, and the railroads used to be all private.
Right. But they were subsidized.
Well, that's right, with the land on the side.
Absolutely.
We're talking about, an arena. We're talking Machinery Row. We're talking Delta Hawk. I mean,
well, there's a big difference. And
when we start going into that private sector, public-private partnerships, disaster. And they've been nothing but a disaster in Racine.
And they're going to continue to be that way, because a company that's got a good idea, it's going to make it happen, doesn't come in for a subsidy.
Right.
Now some of the really, really big ones are like Amazon.com and Foxconn and some of these. They're coming in because they what the hell? Let's get a couple $100 million or a $1 billion or so into our coffers to help us go along. But they probably don't really need it. And if nobody offered it, if the cities
weren't so starving out of business, George, because the city isn't offering. New York and Philly or something is offering Amazon this huge amount of money. They're going there because they know that this is a base that they need to be at that particular area. That study was done. They know it. We're going to get what we can. Because we got public officials who just now they've got this hook in them that they've got to develop using tax dollars to lure these companies in. We've gone way over the top with corporations and to draw them in and to pay them to come in to save us. Foxconn is a prime example.
What do you do when you do that? I mean, when you subsidize some big outfit like Amazon, they've been very destructive, quite honestly, to a lot of small businesses.
Yeah,
a lot of small businesses that were surviving on regular consumer trade. Now, Amazon is selling things a little bit cheaper.
Well, Walmart's another one. Walmart
subsidized. Absolutely, Walmart is another one.
Employees were subsidized, and taxing the healthcare systems for a corporation. So, and really, when you talk about wages, I mean, the market will dictate a wage. That's my feelings. I mean, capitalism does work. Believe it or not, it does work if you allow it to work.
Yeah, it has to be free moving.
Yeah,
and I mean, I don't have any problem with Walmart or Amazon.com coming in and moving, taking over businesses that small businesses had. My concern is that when the government subsidizes it also. Now that's just ridiculous.
That's unfair.
If they're good and they're able to take out the small businesses, okay, then do it. But don't do it with government help.
Right. No. All right. Let's get to the show. We've got some clips here of our Common Council. And I think it's a groupthink. What's some of the herd mentality?
Yeah.
We're working on some words.
Get along, go along.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons that we have had such a dismal development projects come through the city of Racine, because they were not vetted. They talk about vetting, but they have rosy expectations of what these projects are going to be, and they never develop. And then you ask, what happened? Well, you can just watch now that you can look back at Machinery Row, the arena. Now we're going to look back at Foxconn. I got that feeling too. But at some point, they honestly have to really look at from a vetted from a financial position, and it's just not happening. And let's George, you're on the first one here, so I'm going to hit this clip on.
Okay. I watched this clip. You're good.
First point I want to address is, what is a committee of the whole? According to the Microsoft and Carter College Dictionary, it is the entire membership of a legislative body gathering as a whole to consider a matter informally. The committee investigates and prepares a report for the legislative body. The legislative body debates the report, and for various reasons, such as philosophical or practical or lack of thoroughness, approves or disapproves it. Such legislative debate should be orderly and timed. The investigation, however, by the committee must be thorough and not be submitted for approval until it is a complete piece of work, and that takes as long as it takes. The result is shorter committee of the whole meetings, but a long list of incomplete investigations of important business rushed through the council with not surprising resultant failures. Such examples are Point Blue, the Porter Project, Delta Hawk, Festival Hall renovations, Machinery Row, and now pending the sports arena. All these were pushed through on a lead, follow or get out of the way basis. Counter considerations or questions, even alternatives, were considered subversive and destructive.
George, that was good.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
well, thanks. Yeah, that was in my younger days.
Yeah.
They had rules of the community hall. You only got to talk twice.
Yeah, right. They were going to make
They were
rules.
following the same rules as they did in the Common Council.
Right.
And I was saying, no, wait a second. It's two different functions. It's the same people,
Yeah.
see, but it's two different functions.
Right.
In one of them, you're investigating, and the other, you're trying to convince as many people as you can of your viewpoint.
Right.
All right.
Correct.
And that's what I was trying to get across there.
That's not what they do. They don't vet it, and we can go over every project. I mean, I watch it, and it's this hope that things work out. And
Well, yeah, and they're trying to shortcut it.
Yeah.
And I remember QA on one of them in particular trying to shortcut. He says, I have more important things to do. I have people that are calling me about dogs and stuff like that, and I have to answer my constituents' calls rather than to
Does
talk
he have a
about me.
reputation for being responsive?
Well, that's
to
what I
his
found out many
constituents?
years later. He's not so hot on the calling answering
Yeah,
as
right.
the phone calls. So, but the thing is that they're both important, and you need to spend time and find out what the truth is, and they're short-circuiting that by following and listening to these dog and pony shows that come in.
Exactly.
In fact,
Yeah.
now I've learned to recognize that when KRM came through, I did not know what was going on. I thought it was a little strange that this person in these nice cars and these nice suits were coming in and trying to sell this idea on building a KRM. It's just an idea.
And it's kind of orchestrated. They're like
Well, yeah, they're
like
talk-
traveling salesmen.
Well, they are.
They go
They
around
are.
from community to community.
Well, I didn't know that at the time, though.
Yeah.
I thought that's an awful lot of work to get Racine County to get a KRM through.
Yeah.
And I thought about it later. Well, who's making money out of this? And later on, I did find out. Yeah, there are people behind the scene making big money out of taxpayers spending billions of dollars on a railroad that doesn't work. Well, the point is when the arena came through. Same thing. All of a sudden, I see
Yeah.
this dog and pony show. This flying in this guy from Pennsylvania.
yeah, right.
well, and
sell the city.
Didn't we spend like
this-
$600,000 on
we
that
did.
study?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
yeah.
did.
And I'm sure
Yeah,
that
that
they
was-
had done a similar study for other communities that they
yeah.
had
Well,
been
that
in
was who
before.
were making it on. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
no
but what's-
problem. No problem selling $600,000 or spending $600,000. Nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, I think flying colors. We have to find out these numbers. No, you
Yeah.
don't. I mean, find out. Call a contractor. Hey, listen, I need to have a project done here, and let's put some numbers on the table. Let's
Well,
talk
but
about
the
it.
local contractors are
Oh.
not experienced with a project
No,
of this
I tell you-
magnitude, Mr.
Yeah.
Smart.
I'll tell you who else you might talk to is to go out and talk to your constituents.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's when Corey Mason found out.
You mean
the
as he
funders?
was going door to door
Yeah.
and found out what people thought about that arena.
Right, right.
Because he came in to push through. He came in to push
George,
through
if you
Dicker's
remember
program.
right, there was
Oh,
no.
yeah,
There was
absolutely.
somebody, they talked about a referendum. I think it was Sandy or one of the aldermen talked about a referendum. Boy, they shot that out. We're here to make that decision. They were.
Oh
not gonna-
yeah, that was
Yeah.
the one. That was a real good argument against
Yeah.
the referendum.
I think,
we're
Meekler
just
had
shedding our responsibility.
Right.
It's our responsibility to make that
Oh, my
decision.
gosh. Okay, well here's one. We'll just start kind of
Burden of leadership.
Oh, brother.
A lot of people out there are going to be watching what our decision is. There's going to be potential lenders. And I guess I want to move forward and show a lot of support so potential lenders coming forward will say, these guys believe in this project. And I think if we all get on the same team here and support this, we're going to have a lot of really great things that are going to be happening with this project.
There you go. There you go.
That's everybody get on.
yes.
see?
right. Get on board.
We don't want any stragglers out there in case we're wrong and somebody's out there. I told you so.
Right.
Yeah. There's the
Nobody thinks.
Yeah.
No thinking.
a call for group
everybody
think.
on board.
Who we got next?
Let's see. We got Q next.
Oh, great.
The developer, as I understand it, is putting in $750,000 to $1.5 million.
No, wait,
There you go.
This is what?
There
This
you
is
go.
total BS. Total. Just.
Well, wait a minute. He said according to his understanding.
Yeah. Well, that was a very limited understanding.
Or a misunderstanding,
Well,
possibly.
possibly. But the fact is, you throw those things out there. Anybody say, "Well, I never heard that." I mean, it's just they're just not.
Well, that's
I mean,
good.
I can look at some of these
That's
older
good.
persons now and think, "Oh." I mean,
But that was the result of the press release and remember under the tent when all the big shots were
Yep.
there
Yeah,
announcing
yeah.
Machinery Row, you know.
I mean, in Machinery, an absolute, total fraudulent disaster. And when you go through this, and I tried to mix them up with the arena and different projects because there's plenty of them.
Why don't we rent a tent and we'll all put on suits and we'll make a presentation and
we
see
should
if
sell something.
yeah, see if we can get $65 million bucks. You know, heck, I'd retire, wouldn't you?
Why retire? What are you gonna do? Okay, next guy. Next up, Q again.
We don't want to spend this $600,000 for this endeavor. What are we going to do? This common council come up with something.
See, there's my theory. See, in other words, they don't know what to do.
Yep.
You know, they're not looking at the very simple thing of just you get out of the way.
Yeah.
You know, let
run the city.
Let people within the city start up the business and stuff.
You know, do something, even if it's wrong. At least you're doing something.
Yeah. But again, it's that group think. It's again, let's just all move together in this. You know, and you can hear them. And we all been through these common council meetings where, well, I vetted this, I looked at it, I studied this. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
And you know, there is some substance to the comment of, you know, the wrong thing to do is nothing. You know, I understand that. You need to do something. But, boy, you know, there's a lot of ideas out there. And we've talked about it right here. Yeah. You know, one of the things is just get out of the way. You know, lower taxes, reduce regulations, and you will see the economy grow. How about trying that? They never talk about that. No. I have never heard that statement or anything close to it on the council floor.
Make the community a great place where people want to move to instead of leave. You know,
we're
going to do that with an arena.
Man.
Nobody's moving here because of the arena. Nobody's moving here because of Machinery Row. Oh, they're going to fill these apartments in different. No, that's not the way it works. And besides that, there was never any money, and nobody knew that. How did we figure it out? We have no. We actually get no information, but we could figure this stuff out.
Yeah, it's easy. I remember when Becker went down. The next council meeting, that council was really, really in the pits.
Yeah.
The city was dead.
Yeah, right.
And I'm looking at him, wait a second.
It's an opportunity.
Wait a minute. He did what he did. I still went to work that day.
Yeah.
Everybody else I know went to work that day. The city's not dead. The council might be, because their leader is gone. Mm-hmm. They might be in shambles right now, but not the city.
No.
And I thought their problem is they've got themselves mixed up with the city.
Yeah.
They think they are the city. They think they are the ones that make it happen. It's their decisions that make this city
George, I always
rise
go back
and fall.
to that. It's this ego. They get these egos, and it just explodes. And then
it's something about getting in that position of power. You know the thing about. I said once before about in questions of power, then let's not have confidence in man, because man is screwed up when it comes to handling power.
Exactly,
they're bad, right down to the police level.
Yep.
From the president all the way down to the lowliest cop or inspector on the streets. You give them power, and they become funny.
Funny.
Let's go back and listen.
What's happening with this arena? All of you have gotten it. I don't know if you read your emails or not, but we have been informed. And there's other projects that's taking place that we have been totally informed.
Yeah.
Okay, you're informed on an email. Here's the thing. I mean, you're spending, in that particular one, $4.5 million. I mean, Foxconn's $1 billion. Machinery is only millions. That was the forerunner for Foxconn. But listen, I want to see the financials. I want to see your financials. I want to see the agreement that we've got between you and the city of Racine. And how are you, if this project doesn't go, how are you going to repay us, or at least get us to zero if we do end up getting this thing back? I mean, I want to know all that.
And let's see your actual track record.
Right.
What have you done in the past? Don't just tell me you're a developer that's worked on big projects. And let's see what you've done and how it's turned out.
Here's the thing that you spotted there, Jim. What he said was the truth. I mean, he's judging from the email.
Yeah. Exactly.
A multi-million-dollar project, he's making a decision based on an email.
You were given that email.
Now, that is not, that's not fully informed.
Did George get that email?
I don't think anybody did. I'd like to see that email.
If it's
that good, it's got to be a great email.
That might need to be sequestered.
Yeah, exactly. All right, here comes Ron Hart. Now he's on. He has his own vetting process.
Yes, I just wanted to thank all the people that came out and spoke. I kept track of the for and against. Out of the 22 people that spoke, 15 were for and 7 were against. So I think it's pretty obvious that this project should be a go, and I would hope we all would support it. Thank you.
Well, I think, was there any possibility that somebody like rallied the troops to come in and speak on
even
behalf?
that. I mean, if this is your vetting process, I got 15. It's like a football game. I won. Hey, you won, so it must be you won. I mean, this is who is spending.
Why are you making a
taxpayers' money.
football reference? You know, he played.
Yeah,
for
I know.
the,
That's exactly what I'm thinking.
He's a good
you know.
player too. Actually,
He was.
Yeah.
Well,
He's,
should-
yeah, his name's up there at the Raiders Hall of Fame.
Is it? Well, that's good.
But
Maybe
I
should have stayed a Raider.
Yeah, I think he
He
could
was-
have worked a little harder on this particular issue. Absolutely.
Whatever. I mean, it's just the fact is, this is how things are vetted in the city of Racine. And you want to know why we got a track record? Because 22 people came, 15 said it was good, 7 said it wasn't, so it must be good.
Yeah, that's not the way you make a financial decision.
Yeah.
You know, it's just
Let's see.
Well,
Who-
apparently it is, but it's not the best.
yeah,
way.
not the way you should make one. I'll put the should in there.
It is going to be vetted. It has been vetted. And this is no different than a budget process.
Again, no problem. We vetted it, you know. But here's the thing: somebody there. Let's just say you got a young older person that just came on, and maybe they don't have the background in finances or whatever. And I always have this that you should have a well-rounded individual to run for office. I mean, I see these young 20-some-year-old people that are young. They don't have a well-rounded life. I mean, you ain't been here and you ain't been here, and you have to live a little bit to understand how life functions. And I don't think some of them actually understand that. That
Why
being
do we
said-
elect my mom mayor?
Well, that's
You know,
it.
I mean, she's like 99.
Yeah, the older the better, as far as I'm concerned. But I mean, I'll tell you what, you probably got more wisdom than a lot of people. But
Well,
Again,
now
this is vetted.
this next clip is really interesting because QA was just talking about how all of these opportunities to understand this project and what's being proposed have been in front of you. You've had ample time and ample information to make a good decision, and let's move forward with this. And now we've got somebody else with a differing opinion, and who is this?
it was Eddie Deal.
Eddie Deal.
Kind of another councilman.
Right.
It was made about the presentation that was done in the summer, and we didn't hear anything until recently. This council has tried to stay involved with this. I personally have tried to stay involved with this project to get updates. I've asked for documents, diagrams. They haven't been provided.
Well,
And I think, and what happens too, the one that sits, you know, outside of this group, we got to get rid of them. There's this creative thinking, this I don't want to use the
Independent thinking.
independent
is what it is.
thinking.
Well, Eddie was very good at digging into facts and figures. He could confront a lot of complicated information and sort it out, and try to make
he's a
sense
darn
out
good
of it.
older person.
Yeah, which a lot of people can. As soon as they see all that in front of them, well, what do the experts say? You know, I can't understand.
Well,
all
and
this.
but here's the thing: when you have individuals like council members like that, they bring up that information. Each one has a strong suit at some point, and when they do bring it up, and that's when you talk about committee of the whole. That's where this information comes out. You know, I understand the financial. They may understand some construction. There may be something on roads or you know, lawnmowers, for crying out loud, anything. But the fact is, that's what comes together to discuss that, and that's the way government, a good, healthy government works. And you can usually move forward with that. Yeah, you need some leadership, but you also need a bunch of different creative ideas on how to solve an issue or to move forward on an issue. And I just think Racine lacks that. We've got this, you know, the Democratic Party now is like in charge of who is going to be in the seat, not because they're a good candidate for an aldermanic position, because they are the groupthink, the like-think, the herd mentality, and that's what we've got. And these young people, I'm watching them, and none of them have this. They just want to line up because we can maybe move up the ladder through this progression, through this party.
Well, now what happens when somebody like Eddie Deal exposes himself the way he just did there?
Oh.
I mean, the sheep mentality, the herd mentality is like, oh, the wolf is going to get him.
Right.
Let's hang out over here, and
Exactly.
at least we won't get eaten.
Right.
And that's basically what happened.
Right.
You know, I mean,
we can go up for the last 10 years. We can go up, and the one that Eric Marcus, Eddie
Eric
Deal,
Marcus was the most obvious one. I mean, he had a way, he could dig into something fast, comprehend it, and in a very powerful presentation, and that ticked off a lot of people.
Yeah.
They just
Well,
they
because
felt he was grandstanding all the time. He was just.
What would have happened if you had someone actually digging into machinery early on? None of this would have happened because you would have had someone say something that looked like Sandy Widener was there. Sandy kind of hung out there on her own. Eddie Deal, but they got rid of Eddie.
Yeah.
You know, before he.
Oh yeah, he was challenging it. Yeah.
Yeah, he was, and Shields too. The only one left is Sandy, and and now they're sequestering her emails and everything else. They've got to get rid of her because she's asking.
No, they don't have to.
Well,
they want to.
Well, they want to.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in their mind, they have to.
Yeah. Well, that's.
But again,
if they're gonna whip over the crowd of the herd. You know,
and nobody
they need to get rid of Sandy.
None of them.
She's not responding to that noise.
Speak up, and it's too bad. And I don't see young leadership stepping up, asking questions, and really investigating things, and they don't. And Racine suffers because of it.
Now, who we got? We got more
Okay.
of QA here.
He's just.
President, what is our priority? In my opinion, we need to unify government into a smooth running and productive team despite differences in personality.
Now here, I just it's something you need to understand about democracy. That does not exist in a democracy, because a democracy, by its definition, is run by everybody as a whole. It's a people type of thing. And
it's messy.
No two people are alike. That's right. They got different opinions. They're looking at things from different viewpoints, and it's not going to be a smooth. You know, I was in the Army, and once you get in there, you are trained. You are trained to do what that sergeant says.
Yep.
You know, that's and sometimes you need that type of thing, but you certainly don't need it on the council in a war situation. You gotta, you know.
Yeah.
But otherwise. You know, that's smooth operating, you know, but it's for a particular purpose.
Have a purpose and a goal.
Yeah,
right. Extremely authoritarian.
Very authoritarian.
Yeah.
Boy, you talk about top down, you know, that's the way. Don't try anything back up or you're in trouble, you know. Go see the quartermaster. When I hear that, I'm saying, no, wait a second, not on that council. This is where things get discussed. This is where 15 people from different backgrounds and different ideas and different personalities discuss things, and it's not going to be just a smooth operating thing. And that's why you have to get around to facts instead of opinions.
Exactly.
Well, from whence do the ideas come that everyone should rally around and unify around? Where do those ideas come from? What is he saying there?
Well, that's when he used to be a cow, and you listened to what the cowboy said.
Right.
It's time to go to the watering hole.
Yeah,
fellow
again,
cattle.
I go right back
fellow
to
sheep.
The administration comes in. We've got this idea. You have to remember, they want to stay in position. They want to make sure that they got a mayor that's going to keep them there. They're going to insulate themselves. And when we don't care about spending taxpayers' money. That's if the taxpayer's not noticing, we're just going to do it. And we're going to keep this thing all going, and we need everybody on board.
Feels good to spend money.
You know, and that's another thing.
How did they get $3.5 million raise out of the reserve fund? They did that because they were able to keep them all together and pull up $3.5 million out of the reserve.
And that's another thing about pulling together as a team, quote unquote, and not have a lot of discussion, because then the public never notices it.
Exactly.
So when you screw up, people just think, the taxes are just going up. They always go up. They're never looking at behind and say, well, why are they always going up? Why are our taxes double what the community next door is?
Yep.
You know, and those questions don't get asked until someone like a Sandy or an Eddie or
talking Racine.
Yeah, or talking Racine. That's right. Yeah, it comes from the public too.
Yep.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Supporting my fellow aldermen who feel they need some more information, who do not have all the questions answered. I had the opportunity this afternoon to take the time and meet with Mr. Blackwell, get my questions answered. I asked him about what skin he had in the game. I asked him how devastated he would be if this didn't work. I got my answers. I feel confident. I wish he had another line of credit and it was in the city. I wish we had a market study that showed thousands of people are interested in this new development. We don't have those. But I had my questions answered, and I feel confident in voting for the project.
There's a lot of...
Oh, I'd like to know what her questions were and what the answers were.
Yeah,
I mean to just simply say I had my questions answered. For example, what is his skin in the game? I mean, what was his answer to that?
Right.
Because he didn't have any.
No.
Yeah.
Well, he might have said he has some.
Well, that's what I mean.
That's
Like I said,
yeah.
when we vetted, this was the vetting process. No, I thought she was a fairly decent older
She was
woman.
good. This was her only real big error.
But again, what happened
She
here
picked a
was
Lulu.
Yeah, she picked a big one. But again, we go back to this whole herding mentality, and I think she fell right into it, like, well, if I don't go along with it, I'll probably be looked upon negatively.
Well, she did say that she supported people who had questions and wanted answers.
So what'd you do? Hey, last guy.
We have roads, we have bridges, etc., etc. We have a lot of things that we got to do, and that would be an engine that will help us to move forward.
What he did is he listed some things, like drugs and health and that type of thing, that are really kind of a failure of the individual to do that, make the wrong decisions about that. But in general, the public can be trusted. Agreed. There's a role for government. We talked about that. But to take those little things and now say, now we have to do everything. We're going to have to make sure businesses get in here. We're going to run the city. We're going to do it all for the people. I think is the wrong way to go. We've wondered about things to do. Well, let's get some people on that council that have faith in the individual and their constituents, that their constituents can survive. They can lead their own life. They can provide for themselves. They don't need the government to do it for them. And then I think we have a better shot at proceeding forward and getting the city to grow and people to be responsible for their lives again.
Absolutely. To peg it to some project with the hope that is going to be, as he described it, the engine of commerce that creates all of this flowing of wealth. That is not the role of government. As I've said before, the government should make sure that the city works. It shouldn't be running the city.
And that's right. Not in a free society. In a socialism, okay?
Well, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, the government runs it. But in a free society, the individual is left to his own means to do it. And if the city does anything, it's just to kind of keep it quiet, so that the mob doesn't take over, and start to run it, like happened in the Soviet Union. So you keep it peaceful enough so that the individual, the average peace-loving individual, can get out there and provide.
Believe in the human spirit.
I think that's right there.
And so we've got people that are going to be announcing coming up that they're running for these various offices. Get to know them, talk with them, talk with your neighbors about them, and decide who is going to best represent you in accomplishing what these things that we've talked about.
Let's get some people on the council that have faith in their constituency and not feel like they are the leader and their flock will follow, type of thing.
Right.
So we have confidence in you, and one of the things we're confident about is that you'll be back next week. And we appreciate you being here today, and we'll talk to you again soon. Thank you.